Ant-Man. Ant-Man is up there with Iron Man 2 for one of the most mediocre movies ever made. And I don't mean that in a good way. I don't mean that in like, oh, this movie was okay. It was kind of fun. It was kind of like a good time at the movies. No, I mean mediocre in the sense that I felt nothing watching it. I forgot that I was alive when I watched Ant-Man. Okay, so it wasn't as bad as Iron Man 2, but it kind of reminded me a lot of it. And it's kind of goes to an issue I have with a lot of Marvel movies. My problem with Marvel movies is they tend to be very bipolar, I guess. Like half of them are pretty good and they seem to have actual writers making them, and the other half are just awful. Something I think we can all agree on that's uniformly bad in Marvel movies is the villains. Outside of the X-Men series, the villains are terrible, and this movie's no exception. They just kind of took a character from House of Cards who's popular, and they took the actor and they made him play basically the same character in this. So we kind of have just another phoned-in Marvel villain, and we have another phoned-in Marvel hero. His name's Scott Lang. What do we know about him? Not a lot. He did some stupid hacking thing, some Robin Hood, steals from the banksters to give to the poor. So we got him. We got, I forget what her name is, Hope. I forget what the actress who plays her, who's kind of like okay looking. Like she would be okay looking. She would be decent looking for like a normal girl, but for an actress, she's Evangeline Lilly. That's her name. But she's, as an actress, she's just very mediocre looking. And then we have Hank Pym, who has a strong case of the tism. He has the tism if I've ever seen a comic book character have it. So we have them, and then we have the lame villain from House of Cards, and then we have a myriad of illegal immigrants who help out our hero. And that's not a joke, I think they actually are. There's an African American, there's Latino, a Latino, as Obama would put it, who's an illegal, undocumented worker, and then there's some random Russian guy who hangs out with them and is a hacker. So it's basically like I can't tell sometimes if is it politically correct to have stereotypes because it's diversity, or is it politically incorrect to have stereotypes because they're stereotypes? I don't really know, but they suck. And it's just, what's my problem with this movie? My problem with this movie is I just don't care. Like I said, I forgot that I was alive when I was watching this movie. I felt nothing. The main character has no discernible personality, aside from like just lazy screenwriting that he wants to protect his daughter, and he has a completely undeveloped relationship with Hank Pym's daughter. Hank Pym doesn't really have a discernible personality. He just kind of has the tism and just kind of an angry old man. And then his daughter's just also has no personality, and then the bad guy's just kind of wacky. So like, well, what's my issue with the movie? I don't know, the whole premise is just lame. Maybe it's just, and I try to keep these separate normally, but I can't because this is a core aspect of the movie. Maybe it's just becoming like an alt-right guy. The premise kind of pisses me off because basically like he went to jail for 3 years and his wife left him, and she went and married some other guy, and she took the kid with him, and like the whole movie, like the genesis of the movie is that he wants to become a criminal again to get money to pay child support. So basically he's a cuck, because he's going to pay someone else to sleep with his ex-wife. Well, I don't really believe in divorce. Okay, to sleep with his wife and raise his kid. And so there's some random guy begging his wife and raising his children, and he has to pay them. So it's pathetic. It's just, how can I respect that? How can I look up to that in a hero? It's just lame. And then he's gonna go and run off with Hank Pym's daughter, and he'll probably have a child with her, and then she'll probably leave him too, and he'll be paying support to two baby mamas. I mean, it would have been better if he had have like got in the suit, gone and beat the crap out of her asshole fiance, and said, "You're coming back with me," or something like that, and they got back together, and she realizes that she shouldn't have run off and left him to rot in jail and stolen their daughter. But no, instead we have an awkward scene at the end where he basically sits at the table and is just a cuck, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay, I'm sure you'll be a good father to my daughter, but I also want to be in her life, because this is postmodern America and we have unconventional family structures now." I don't know, it's a fucking insult. It's pitiful, and he doesn't really seem to care that much. He doesn't care that his wife left him. He's slightly upset that he can't see his daughter, but he sees nothing wrong with paying child support and paying another guy. I don't know, he doesn't seem to be irritated that someone's screwing his wife, but that's the reality of postmodern America. There aren't any moral standards anymore. I assume nobody in this movie is religious, so under what grounds would they object to an arrangement like that? Why would they be against his wife going and sleeping with someone else, and then her taking money from him? I don't know, he has no moral way to object to that, so he's gonna go do the same thing, and it's just gross. He's just a loser. We had the Avengers show up briefly, except the only one who showed up was like the only one lame enough to who needed a paycheck to show up, Vulcan or whatever his name is, who no one cares about. He randomly showed up in this movie. I don't know, it was just really lame. It was lame. I couldn't get past the fact that I just didn't like any of the characters. There were some okay action scenes, but when no one's likable, relatable, and there's kind of a crappy bottom of the barrel like story you could get from a fortune cookie, it doesn't bode well for me. I need more than that in a movie. At least if there's going to be a generic story, make it fun. At least show that you put in some effort, and this movie really didn't, to me at least, put in any effort. So that's Ant-Man. It gets a 6 out of 10, maybe like a 6.05, just to show how mediocre this movie was. So that's my review. Argent Templar, signing out.